lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Times it gets hard, and you know I got faith. I'm not ungrateful, thanks for mercy and grace. But every day, problems steady in my face, and the enemy is steady on my case. I walk around in the public, I'm okay, but my soul is in such a dark place. I ride around, I'm just one step away. Me back to the streets is what they wanna see. Pastor Gardner ministers to me. Who thought 3 in the morning be the first time we speak? In the word, gotta get my roots deep. I be eating scripture to the point I'm obese. Easy to turn to the streets, I was a beast. But there's a part of me that still wanna eat. See, my spirit and my flesh won't agree. And every day I live, life steady getting at me.
Everyday life, steady coming at me. Everyday problems, steady trying to grab me. So I'ma give them up to you.
Give them up, hey.
I'ma throw them up to you.
I'ma throw them up.
I can't run from my problems. I'ma run to the one that can solve them. And I'ma give them up to you.
Give them up, hey.
I'ma throw them up to you.
The bill's still coming, but the money ain't matching. The ends used to meet when I was out there trapping. Kids gotta eat, and they want the new fashion. I'm trying to do my best, but they mamas just keep snapping. Life's a test, and I plan on passing. We all know at times it gets drastic, and you can be aware of your habits. We all fall short, that's just part of the story. I'm on my knees daily praying, not asking for a miracle, but God, I'm just saying. And my faith stands tall, but them naysayers waiting for my fall. But they watching from afar, they don't know that where I am, there you are. And yes, I know all of this, but it don't stop the everyday struggles for Chris.
I got everyday life, steady coming at me. Everyday problems, steady trying to grab me. So I'ma give them up to you.
Give them up, hey.
I'ma throw them up to you.
I'ma throw them up.
I can't run from my problems. I'ma run to the one that can solve them. And I'ma give them up to you.
Give them up, hey.
I'ma throw them up to you.
What I'm gonna do next time, thoughts enter my mind about me heading back to the grind. When these bills I gotta sort through, money getting short too. Here's what I'm gonna do.
I'ma throw them up to you.
I'ma throw them up, yeah.
I'ma give them up to you.
I'ma give them up to you.
I'ma throw them up to
hey,
you.
Ain't no more worrying about it. Hey God, it's all in your hands now. Whoa.
I got everyday life, steady coming at me. Everyday problems, steady trying to grab me. So I'ma give them up to you.
Give them up, hey.
I'ma throw them up to you.
I'ma throw them up.
I can't run from my problems. I'ma run to the one that can solve them. And I'ma give them up to you.
Give them up, hey.
I'ma throw them up to you.
Well, hello. I am not the one to gossip, but y'all know what time it is. This is from Under a Bridge Radio Talk Show. I am your host, Blossom. Like I said, I'm not the one to gossip, but I give God all the glory. When I tell y'all, I keep telling y'all this every week, but when I keep telling y'all over and over and over again that we got a powerful story for you today, but like I said, I am not the one to gossip. I'm going to let her share her testimony. So first of all, I want to thank my little sister, Kimmy Kim, for always putting up with me. I was great calling in, but God be the glory. She said, no problem, we still going to do the story. Well, like I said, I want to tell you I love you and thank you so much for being who my little sister, Miss Kimmy Kim. Once again, I want to thank all the radio hosts that have made me feel welcome, part of this family. Just thanks for being who you are and continue to keep letting God use you. I'm not the one to gossip, but like I said, let's go into prayer, because if it wasn't for God, His grace and His mercy, none of us would be here this morning. Because some didn't wake up this morning. Some can't walk. Some can't talk. Some don't even know that they're in the world. Well, let's give credit where credit is due. If you would join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of Jesus. Thank you for another blessed day. Thank you for being the God that you are, a true, merciful, kind, loving, understanding, all-knowing. Dear Heavenly Father, if we had 1,000 tongues, we couldn't thank you enough. We just want to say thank you. Hallelujah, the highest praise we can give you. And we ask all these things. Lord, I ask that we may decrease so that you can increase. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Like I said, I want to thank you for joining us here on From Under a Bridge Radio Talk Show. I am your host, Blossom, but like I said, I got a woman of God. When I tell you this girl right here, her and I, we go back a long ways. I love her for who she is, and her and I have been on a journey. I mean, a journey. We're not the ones to gossip, but we're going to tell you what God is, has, and going to do in her life. Is my guest there today?
Yeah.
You got me, Poo-Poo, how you do? Yeah, I'm talking about you, girl. What's going on?
You talking about a long. I'm like, I'm not Moses, and she's not. Look, you want a long.
What's going on?
Now. Girl, God got it.
Amen.
He got it. What's going on? I'm so glad that, I thank God for, and I feel honored that God had put it on your heart to ask me to do this show. So, again, thank you, God, and you for allowing me to do this. But, again, I got to laugh because when you said a long, and you kept going. I said, well, how long ago was that? How old is it?
Now, you know me, I know you, but can you introduce yourself to our listeners? Because, like I said, they don't know where God has brought us from. They don't know.
Well, I can tell you, he brought me. He actually just took his hand and pulled me out that pit of fire, and just immediately. I got to start this way. People say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, when I was born, I wasn't in a village that raised a child. I was in a very dysfunctional village where nobody raising nobody. So when coming in the world, and as I was growing up, all I was around was violence and drugs, and like they say, drugs, rock and roll and all that. Well, yes, drugs, violence, and everything you can name under the sun that is of the world. And so it became a norm for me. As I was becoming an older teenager, if I didn't see or hear or gossip or whatever, if I wasn't a part of something, then I didn't feel that I should be here. If I wasn't a part of something negative, I always wanted to be the party, the life of the party. Everybody looks at me when I come in the room. They would probably look at me because I was so high until I was probably looking like a fool. But anyhow, it went from all of this. I remember, though, one thing I was just thinking about was when I was a little girl, I was sitting here reading the book of Jabez. That's my favorite prayer, shortest prayer in the Bible. But I always read it. And so I was sitting here thinking about how good God is. Because when I was a little girl and being in my foster mother and father, he would beat her every day, and he would molest me every day. So every day there was some chaos in my home, and I remember getting on my knees and saying, just praying, Lord, please, God, please, just let me be happy for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. Now, I was a little girl. I can't tell you how old I was, but I remember that. And as I was growing up, I did not know God as I do today. But no matter where I was or what I was doing, I could be in the middle of doing drugs. Somebody either want to turn on the music, turn on gospel music, or they want to talk about God. And I'm saying, you know, can you kind of be quiet right now? I'm in the middle of something. So, but then they wanted to talk about God. And every time I looked around, it was somebody talking about God or talking about the Word or talking about the miracles that they done for them. Well, the first time I saw that miracle in my life, or I felt it, was I was homeless this one particular time, and that's due to drugs and alcohol. But I was working, so I had nowhere to stay. I didn't even tell my boss I was homeless. And this one particular night, I didn't know no one in this neighborhood, but I seen a park, and I said, okay, I'm going to just sit in this park, God. I was just crying. Lord, how did I get myself into this? Oh, Lord, please help me. I don't know how I got. All of a sudden, a guy walked up to me. He says, are you okay? And I looked up. I said, not really. And he said, Tamisha. And I said, what? Oh, my goodness. It was an old friend of mine who just walked up to me, and he invited me to him and his wife's house. And his wife said, yes, sure, she can stay with us until she gets herself together. And that's when I was like, oh, you know, I started thinking about these things later on. And, again, with the background that I came from, I kind of thought I knew God, but I didn't see the miracles. I didn't know that the miracles was already there as I was growing up. Through all of this destruction, he kept me here. I mean, right now, I could have been 6 feet under 50 times or in a rubber room somewhere picking my nose, but it wouldn't have been nice. So, with going through Blossom, with going through all of this, I'm telling you, I was the worst child. People told me until I believed in myself. So God taught me that I was special. But back then, I was always told I was going to be nothing. I'm worth nothing. You know, I came from a mother that was nothing, and it became a part of my life. And I started telling people I come from a family that had a curse on them. So I was cursed, as I told myself. And people would ask me, well, where were you born? Were you born here? Because I was a little girl, light-skinned girl with long hair and stuff. And I don't know where I got it from, but I said, nope, I was born under a rock. And, you know, people would laugh, but I was serious. I was like, I was born under a rock. And I carried that for a long time. I was born under this rock. I don't know if it was a big rock or a small rock, but I was born under that rock. So later on in life, more miracles started happening. See, I knew man didn't do it. I mean, there was supposed to be times that I went to prison. There would have been times that I would have been raped, which I had been raped constantly. But I remember times when I was in the midst of getting ready to be raped, and something happened miraculously. It was 5 guys, and this one lady, they were after me, they were chasing me, and they said that they were going to get me and pull me in the basement. And I remember this lady coming out of her house. I didn't know who this lady was. She had a shotgun, and she told me to run in her house, and she cocked that shotgun and told them, now you can go about your business, because if you don't, you will have these bullets in your butt. I'm telling you right now. She didn't say it that nice, but she said it, and I was in her house. And I just, you know, I'm telling you all of these things that I'm saying at that time, I wasn't looking at it as a miracle. Okay. then I started seeing miracles happen, too, along the way to other people. You know, like I knew people that came out of situations that should not have happened that way. But again, I didn't think about it until I started seeking God. I started seeking him. But before I started seeking him, I started wondering, God, why do you have me here? I've been through all of this, not thinking that through all this and all this in my mind that I'm going to be nothing, that I'm going to be nothing, that I'm going to be nothing. Through all of that, my spirit was fighting for my life and telling me, you're going to make it. You are going to make it. We are here for you. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. We are here for you. So, my child, don't you worry. And I didn't really realize that either. I kept doing things my way. And every time I did it my way, never turned out. I remember one time I started playing gospel music and I was getting high. And then that would mess everybody else up. But I felt at that time I wanted to, God, I don't want to do this no more. Please help me stop. Now, one thing I want to say here, and I'm going back for a minute, is I'm going to show you how good God is. For me, he is for me. I started shooting drugs, heroin, at 11 years old. I did not stop until I was 21. And how that happened, I didn't go through any rehab. I woke up that morning, my sister was cooking the heroin, and I smelled it, and it just made me so sick. And the next thing I knew, I asked her to leave. Do not come back to my house with that, with none of that. And from that point forward, I had to go through a very bad withdrawal that some people have died from. But I had someone next that was my mother's best friend. See, my mother was an addict, too. She died when I was 11. But she had a real good friend, and that she promised her that she would look after me. Well, of course, she couldn't see me 24 hours a day because she was doing the same thing. Well, anyway, at this point, she had stopped doing drugs. And so I came to her, and I told her, I'm really sick. I don't know what to do. She says, I'm going to help you. Don't worry. She knew what to do. I didn't go to the hospital or nothing. So I pulled through that. Was God. That was not man. And that wasn't me. Because if it was left to me with everything I went through, I would love to have, how can you say, keep forgetting what was going on around me. I couldn't see in front of me. I couldn't see on the side of me. All I thought about was what was behind me. I carried that for many years. I carried guilt. I carried shame. I carried all those things that I shouldn't have been carrying if I would have given it to God. But again, I didn't grow up in a church or nothing like that. So I knew there was a God now. I did go to Catholic school. I knew there was a God, but I didn't know the power of God because I wasn't seeking him at that time. But he was keeping up.
Wait a minute. Now, I've heard your story. You went to Catholic school?
Girl, you can't tell, can you?
Listen, you know that little party on The Problem Child when they gave that party when the child was adopted. What did they?
Yeah. Yeah, girl. I had my little white dress on, pretending I was getting married.
Girl, I didn't want to break in, but I had to break in on that part right there. Girl, I can imagine you just tore up the place around there. I can imagine. I can see that. I really can.
Yes, ma'am. They wanted me to hurry up and get out of there because the nuns, they couldn't put up with me. They would either put me. They were constantly putting soap in my mouth, and when I'm being mass, they were speaking Latin. I didn't understand what they were saying, so I was talking to my friends all. So yes, I
apologize. Okay, go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
But anyhow, through all of everything that, again, all these things was happening, I remember one time, this is how I know, that when you try to do something against the will of God, it's not going to turn out all right at all. And so when I started doing the drugs, cocaine, crack, I was like, I didn't want to do it, but I kept doing it. I kept running in that same hole. I kept falling in that same hole. I wasn't thinking about what I shouldn't be doing, but I knew I didn't want to do it. At one point, I thought I was a lesbian, and I knew I just felt funny. It's like, I had to be drunk. I don't know what happened when I was drunk, but what I'm saying is none of these things were me. It was just in my head. That's what I was supposed to be, all these things. Because when, children's minds are like cotton. They soak up everything. So I soaked up nothing but negativity. The enemy really had me then. But again, God had plans. So the enemy wasn't going to keep me very long. So I went through life. But like I said, everywhere I went, Blossom, I couldn't believe it. I looked back on it, and I'd be sitting at a bus stop, drunk or something. Here comes somebody, they sitting there, and they would start talking about God. Then when I stopped getting high, I could be sitting somewhere on my porch, anywhere. My friends, even right now, that's not in church, we talk about the Lord and what the Lord has done. When I started seeking the Lord, when I started seeking God, we'll put it like this. First, I want to put it this way. God uses each and one of us for something. We all have different journeys, and he has all different plans for each of us. And so I tried to commit suicide so many times you wouldn't believe it. But I'd always wake up. And when I wake up, one time I woke up and thought I was in heaven because I seen all this white, and I'm like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. But then the last time, for a while, I tried to commit suicide. I was in my 20s, and a young lady told me, do you know that you tried this all these years and you still here? Haven't you figured that out, that you're not going anywhere? She said, what God going to do to you? He's going to put your nose on your forehead, your foot in your butt, and that's how you go look. You'll be walking. She said you'll be blowing your nose on your forehead. That made me think. So the last time I tried to commit suicide actually was 4 years ago. I wrote a letter to God, and I said, I am so sorry, God. I am so sorry. I said, I just suddenly realized I'm trying to take away something that you've given me. It's not it's not for me to take something that you've made. This is yours. I belong to you. I am so sorry. I will never do that again, and I haven't. Well, I knew that in my heart, I knew that angels were with me. No matter what I did, angels were with me. But I have something, the last thing to say that's funny to me before I go on to where I started seeking God. I took off from work. I had got into gambling, and I won the first time I won. So this was the second time I thought I was getting ready to win again. So I was supposed to be at work at 9 o'clock. I lied and told them I was sick. I was going to the casino. Now, it was 20 minutes from my job, and I kept getting lost. Girl, I'm screaming in my car, oh, God, why can't I do things? You let everybody else do it. Why can't I do it? And I kept getting lost. And I was going to pay bills. Next thing I know, I had blown everything, all my money. So when I came home, I thought about it, and for a minute I got upset. I said, Lord, why is it that everybody can get away with everything, but when it comes to me, I cannot get away with it? Well, I guess he showed me. He told me, he didn't tell me, he showed me. After I got so tired of running into the same brick wall, I moved here to South Carolina after I was living
first I moved from Chicago, I knew there I was going to die. I felt it because that was a place that had so many bad memories, and it was a place where I wouldn't stop smoking crack because I knew too many people that was doing it. So I got a call. Show you how God is. I got a call from a young man that I met in Chicago who was in Miami, and he told me about the place that he was in where I met Blossom. And I said, you know what? I said, I don't have no money to get there. He said, don't worry about it, I'll get you there. So he did. He sent me a ticket, or it was already, I can't remember. But I made it to Florida. And Blossom remember, the first time I got out there was when I asked for Blossom.
Some pickles. Pickle juice.
Pickle juice. I said, I hollered so loud, anybody got any pickle juice? That's the first time me and Blossom met. And we became real good friends. And Blossom, she always had that in her, too. You know, spirits meet spirits. Even though we may be still doing things in the world, spirits connect to spirits. And for some reason, her and I spirit connected. Mine was still fighting for me, and I don't know. I think hers was still fighting for her because where she is today. So as we grew and I grew to know myself and to learn how to stop playing that tape in my head, and I wasn't really getting on my knees, but I started talking to God. And I asked God, I said, God, I've been here so long. I don't know what my purpose is, and I've been here a long time. Can you please show me what my purpose is in life? I want to clean my temple. So after Blossom left and her life, oh, God, just blossomed. She had the perfect name. Her life blossomed. And for a minute, I thought, God, look how she's grown. Why am I stuck? That's when I found out we all have different journeys. So finally I moved. I got some things straight, and then I moved on my own. And my son and I hadn't talked. Now, this is another miracle. My son and I hadn't talked from the time 2000 to 9 years later. I had been looking for him. What happened was when I moved from Chicago, he was moving at the same time. We were both going to Florida. I didn't know he was going to Florida, but we were both going to Florida. My phone had gotten cut off so that my sister could get it put in her name. He didn't have a phone yet, so we lost contact. And for 9 years, I looked for him, and I looked on the Internet. I kept looking in the white pages. I never saw this one spot that said neighbors. One morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, I got on the Internet again, and I looked in the white pages again. And I saw where it says neighbors. I said, neighbors. I said, is it saying, maybe let me call some in the morning and see if they know my son. So I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait till 9 o'clock. And I called a few people, that he was supposed to be. Someone told me where he was, what part of Florida he was in. But when I called these neighbors, they told me that he moved to South Carolina. So I'm like, okay. And one person knew, Greenville, South Carolina. So then I looked him up I looked his name up again. There's a way you can look the name up. And I seen where he was living in Greenville, South Carolina. And I seen the address. So I went back to the white pages, and I seen again, neighbors. So I called them. And they were like, oh, yes, we know Orlando. He's a wonderful man. He lives right down the street, as a matter of fact. I said, my God. I said, this is his mother. We haven't seen each other in 9 years. Can you please give him my number? And he said that how it happened, he was with his wife. He said his mother-in-law said, sit down, Orlando, I got some news for you, and gave him my phone number. And he said all he could do was cry. And then when he called me, we both cried. And he took off from work. He and his wife came to Florida and asked me, begged me almost, to move back here. And I prayed on it. I did pray on it. But I think I still did my will. I'm not sure yet. I think I did because I was so anxious to get from Miami. But it was still meant for me to be here because I tell you, what the day that I was on my way down here, I had been working for a young lady at a clinic. She had moved here. She had sent another guy I knew in Miami up here and got him an apartment. The same day we were on the highway coming here, I got a call from Kanye, and he says, Tanisha, would you like to move to South Carolina? I said, I'm on my way to South Carolina. He said, girl, Larissa was going to get you an apartment, blah, blah, blah. He just kept going. I said, well, that's funny. I said, what part of South Carolina you all in? Anderson. That's just where my son and wife was living. And he said, and we are at I said, well, where do you work? What's the address? And I repeated it to my son. He said, that's just a block from us. I said, what? I got a job when I get there? I got a place to stay. And that was another working of God. And so when I got here, I felt the peace. It was like I was supposed to be here. I just felt peace. I felt like just getting on my knees and kissing the ground. And from that point forward, you know, South Carolina has a lot of churches. I probably got a few more minutes. Yeah, South Carolina has a lot of churches compared to Chicago and Miami. Chicago and Miami has 3 or 4 liquor stores in one block, which South Carolina has 3 or 4 churches in one block. So that was a big culture shock for me. And
yeah,
then,
same here. Same here.
Okay. And everybody would ask you, well, first of all, the first thing funny was, you know, they're so friendly down here. Most of them are. They wave at you. That's the thing in the South. They wave at you. And I'm sitting on my son's porch, and I'm just sitting there, and people were passing by, and they were waving. I thought he was standing behind me, so I looked to say something. He wasn't there. I said, well, who are they waving at? I went in the house. I take Orlando. People waving every time they come past here. I said, why are they waving? Are you standing there and you go back in the house? He said, no, Ma. He said, that's what they do. They wave. Okay. Then I had to get used to people saying yes, ma'am, because it made me feel so old. I know I'm getting older, but when they said yes, ma'am, I said, you don't have to say that. He said, that's just out of respect. This was a young man. He said, that's what we do down here. That's just out of respect. I said, okay. Then every time I went somewhere, what church you belong to? I haven't found one yet. And I'm like, what? They call it the Bible Belt, and that it is. And so I had visited many churches. God put me, I'm telling you, I never thought I'd be in the church I'm in today. In Chicago, I used to go to mega churches. And in Miami, if I went to church, it had to be a mega church. And now I believe I know why. Well, I start doing things for myself, like therapy and just things to make me know, to help me to know that I'm on my way to recovering from desperate measures, that my mind, my spiritual mind, my spiritual heart, soul, and my spirit inside was going to meet together. Little did I know that. And so I met a lot of positive people because I prayed. And this time I was seeking God. And I prayed to God. I said, God, I'd like to be somewhere where somebody give me Bible study, because I don't know verses in the Bible. My Bible has caught a lot of dust. I said, so can you please send me somebody to give me Bible study? Well, everybody that I met called themselves giving me Bible study. It didn't turn out that way. So once I met this young lady, she's my mentor now, we thought we didn't like each other. And for months and months, I would go to a women's group she held. And finally, out of nowhere, I said, can I go to church with you? She said, you sure can.
You are more than welcome. From that day forward, I have been in this little Bible church. We sing old hymns. There is no big choir, and I love the hymns we sing. And
they have Bible study, and the pastor is a teacher. Things that I need to know. Now I know about why I'm seeking God and how God had taken care of me, how the Lord had used Jesus Christ to take care of me. And so, but this is how I found out I didn't want to be in little churches because, I had to get used to going to church every Sunday. And one Sunday I told my mentor, I said, well, because all y'all go to church every Sunday doesn't mean I have to go. I said, that's why I like them big churches. They didn't know if you were there or not. But this church wasn't like that. They knew when you wasn't there. And they would call, the pastor would call me. What, are you okay? Yes, sir, I'm fine. I just was lazy today, didn't feel like going. But it's not that way anymore. I'd be excited to go. And the things that I'm learning, I thought that church people thought that they were all perfect and they don't sin and da-da-da, things like that. But then I had this brother, his name is Brother Al on Wednesday night. When he does Bible study, sometimes I sit there and just cry. And he lets me know that all along I was alone. It was never a curse on me. God was right there all along. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I've been doing what God wants me to do, and I've been speaking at special events or venues. I started speaking before when I was 18, but I could speak on every subject that is in life: drugs, domestic abuse, molestation. So I've been in every venue here, HIV, all of that. I've been in the newspaper. I've been on the radio, on the television, all of this, in churches even. People who they want to brush everything on the rug. I fought. I'm an advocate. Put it like that. I fight for causes. There's a lot of things that need to be done here. And I am standing up to fight for those who don't have a voice. God did that for me. He's done that
Amen.
for me.
Amen.
So I believe, this is what I believe. The reason God has kept me so long, because I'm a testimony. I'm His miracle. I am out here to bring some souls in.
Amen.
So that's why I'm
You muzzling
here.
up. You muzzling up. We can't really hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes.
God, all that I went through it was a part of my experience so that I can help other children, I can help young adults, I can help senior citizens, because I've been through almost all of it. There's nothing I don't know about when it comes to desperate measures in life. I am a survivor. I call myself a phenomenal woman of God, because with Him I survived for one purpose, and that's to carry the message.
Amen. Now, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, can you give them your contact information?
Yes, I can. Who was that? Blossom?
Yes.
You want my contact information with what? Within my organization or?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can give you the contact number where you want it now?
Yes, so that our listeners, if they want to get in contact with you.
Okay. Well, they can contact me. I'm going to give you my phone number.
Okay.
My number is 864-517-0232.
And your Facebook?
My Facebook is my first name, FENICIA, Rosario, ROSARIO.
Well, I want to thank you.
That's my name. FENICIA 126 @gmail.com.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on here and being so parent today on From Under the Bridge Radio Talk Show. I'm still stuck over here thinking about you in that nun school, with dealing with the nuns. I know they was ready to put you up out of there. But I thank God for you. I thank God for you. I love you. I love you so much. But before we close out, I like to always open up the doors of the church. If anybody wants to dedicate their life to Christ, and it's not, I don't see it as no religion. I see it as a relationship, because that's just how good. That's just how good He is to us. We can talk to Him anytime about anything, and don't have to worry about it, hearing about it again. So if you we repeat, it's just simple prayer. It's people make it so hard. It's so much fun being saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. We have to remember that Jesus loves us. There's nothing that we can do or say that to stop Him from loving us. And we can come to Him. We can come to Him. Man put us down so, man, woman, they put us down so. But with Jesus, He went to the cross for us. So if you want to repeat this prayer, Dear Heavenly Father, I repent of my sins. I ask Jesus to come into my heart, to be my Lord and my Savior. And when He comes back, I want to go back with Him. That's simple prayer. That's just that simple. Because He loves us, but He'll teach you. God is the one that can change us, not man, not woman, not ourselves. We can't do it. We have to just trust in God. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Felicia, I want to thank you for coming on and being so transparent and loving me in spite of. I thank God for you. Every time I see pickles, I think about you and that juice. God is just good. Just keep on telling your story. Everybody, it's not about competing with one another. If we stay in our own lane, we all got our own race that we got to run. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on From Under a Bridge Radio Talk Show. I am your host, Blossom, and if it's God's will, next Sunday, I'll be sharing my testimony on the show next week. With that being said, I want to thank everybody, and everybody have a blessed week. Talk to you later,
Blossom. Bye-bye.
Bye, baby.
Crown on the beat.
The dead weight in my life, I gotta put away. I can't let it go. Whole world leave me a stream, refocus. I gotta keep my eyes on sight. No more playing foolish game. I gotta get it right. I came too far to throw in the tower. Christ coming back. No man nor the day nor the hour. So while I'm still here, I'ma do my part of will. Going back to my first love, you know what it is. I gotta keep winning, keep winning. 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 I can hear me Portia saying keep winning, keep winning. I can hear the church saying keep winning, keep winning. I can hear my fans saying keep winning, keep winning. I gotta keep winning. I got my sword back, my peace back, look Darius back. Gotta keep winning, walking down a straight and narrow track. I'm charged up, yeah, my face on 100%. Keep wildin' in my sin, no, that just don't make sense. I was losing bad, I turned back to my old way. Started back drinking and smoking like the old days. Man, I almost gave up on my faith. If it wasn't for His grace, man, I would've lost my way. God got a purpose for my life, so I'ma walk it out. People need to see me live that life that I rap about. All I, more than a slogan, it's a lifestyle. I've been through some storms, but I overcame my trials. I came through for the shot, yeah, I got a brand song. Got a calling to fulfill. This world is not my home. I'ma do my Father's will. Kingdom business, what it is. Whatever you do for the Lord, it gotta be real. The dead weight in my life, I gotta put away. I can't let it go. Whole world leave me astray. I'm refocused. I gotta keep my eyes on sight. No more playing foolish game. I gotta get it right. I came too far to throw in the tower. Christ coming back. No man nor the day nor the hour. So while I'm still here, I'ma do my Father's will. Going back to my first love, you know what it is. I gotta keep winning, keep keep winning. I can hear me Portia saying, keep winning, keep winning. I can hear the church saying, keep winning, keep winning. I can hear my fans saying, keep winning, keep winning. I gotta keep winning. There's no other life other than living for the sake. I'm talking blessing after blessing. It's so much faith, been on the grind since 09, so I gotta keep winning. New doors are being open, it's just the beginning. God, he moving right now, he working all things out. The Holy Spirit always lead me down the right route. That worldly route leads to hell, man, so I had to stop. The Lord restore my soul, no more spiritual doubt. Never again will I lose myself chasing out the love. In the first place, I should've waited on the man above. One thing about life, you live and you learn, play with fire. One day you're gon' get burned. It's a price to pay when you make the wrong choice. I'ma keep winning while I celebrate and rejoice. Rest in heaven, Miss Portia, I can still hear her voice. I know my sister up in heaven, rejoicing with the Lord. The dead weight in my life, I gotta put away. I can't let it go. The world lead me astray. I'm refocused. I gotta keep my eyes on Christ. No more playing bullet game. I gotta get it right. I came too far to throw in the tower. Christ coming back. No man, nor the day, nor the hour. So while I'm still here, I'ma do my Father's will. Going back to my first love, you know what it is. I gotta keep winning, keep winning. 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 I can hear me Portia saying, keep winning, keep winning. I can hear the church saying, keep winning, keep winning. I can hear my fans saying, keep winning, keep winning. I gotta keep winning, keep winning. I gotta keep winning, man. I almost gave up, man. I said, man, I don't wanna rap no more, man. I said I wanna do my own thing, man. Remember one night I had a conversation with Crown J on the phone, man. He said, Ladarius, I just want to see you win in life, man. I remember my sister in Christ, Miss Portia, man, you to talk to her on the phone, man. She said, Ladarius, man, I just want to see you do the right thing, man. I just want to see you become that man of God. Yeah, rest in heaven, Miss Portia. We love